ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So thank you so much and welcome you once again. In the course we have completed 6 lessons. The last one was selection of guru. How do you choose a guru, Diksha Guru? On what basis? Basically, naturally it functions in this way that whoever is the most prominent Siksha Guru in one's life happens to become the Diksha Guru. So the most prominent Siksha Guru. Of course, that person should be qualified to be a Diksha Guru. So that's how Diksha Guru is accepted or chosen. Now, once a person has made that decision, then the next thing is from the disciples' side, what are the principles that the disciple has to follow? That will be discussed in the lesson number 7. Initiation vows. What vows does a disciple have to take in ISKCON? So these vows which a devotee must take in ISKCON are finalized or are, you can say, presented again by Srila Prabhupada. So we will not do this exercise. 4 regulative principles. I'm sure you know about them. These are don'ts. In yoga terminology, this is known as yama, things one should not be doing, also known as restrictions. So 4 things: no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. And these 4 things are against 4 principles of religion or dharma. They are against 4 qualities, and those qualities are mentioned: daya, mercy; tapaha, austerity; saucham, cleanliness; satyam, truthfulness. When you study Srimad Bhagavatam, these 4 qualities are mentioned there to be the 4 legs of religion. The pastime of King Parikshit punishing Kali is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. And there it is explained very nicely that dharma or religion personified looks like a bull. And just like the bull has 4 legs, religion also has 4 legs. And these 4 qualities are those 4 legs. So if someone wants to have religion or dharma very strong in one's life, one should follow or observe these 4 qualities. And they are observed by observing these principles. So that's why these principles are important, right? So also in that conversation, if you read from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned there, when Kali asked Parikshit Maharaj, where can I stay? So Parikshit, as the king or the emperor of the whole world, gave Kali these 4 places. He said, wherever these 4 activities happen, you can stay. Wherever there is eating of meat, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex. So then Kali said, in your rule, there's no such place where these 4 things are happening. Can you give me another place? So then Parikshit Maharaj said, okay, wherever there's a lot of gold, or in other words, a lot of assimilation of wealth, that place also you can stay. Because if there is wealth, it leads to these 4 activities, right? Only people who have wealth would spend. Sometimes poor people also drink a lot, but what can be done? But if there is wealth, then it gets more encouraged. And more important than that is, wherever there is excess of wealth, there will be quarrel, there will be fight. And fight and quarrel means Kali. So in order to save oneself from the onslaughts of Kali, one has to observe these regulative principles. Okay, let's read the next slide. Someone, please. Yes, Ashri Mataji.
Following Nicene vows. It is not very difficult to follow the 4 regulative principles. These things should be stopped if you will want to be serious. Otherwise, make a farce and do whatever you like. I cannot give you protection. That is not possible. So you must have to follow these rules and regulations if you are serious. Then take initiation. Otherwise, don't make farce. Don't make farce. That is my request. Lecture Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1635 January 20, 1974. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is from Srila Prabhupada's lecture. He is saying it's not very difficult to follow the 4 regulative principles. These things should be stopped if you all want to be serious. Otherwise, make a farce and do whatever you like. I cannot give you protection. So Prabhupada says it's not difficult to follow. Of course, for someone who is coming from a very nice culture, these things are followed by birth by many people. By birth. Recently, I released a form for Bhakti Shastri. So one of the candidates who applied for it, the question was, since when are you following for the principles? And the answer is, since my birth. So for many people, they are following these principles since birth, and it's not difficult for them. But then who are not following, sometimes it may be challenging to follow, specifically when it's a very bad habit, like someone is into drinking or illicit sex, or even gambling or any kind of addiction. So it may be difficult to come out of these habits. However, when Srila Prabhupada says it's not very difficult, you should know that on the strength of Krishna consciousness, it's not very difficult. Because by practicing Krishna consciousness, one gets that higher taste. And because of that higher taste, giving up these activities become relatively easier because of that higher taste. One begins to experience a different kind of joy in life, a different kind of satisfaction. And even one rises to goodness. So then passion and ignorance doesn't pull one down, right? Next. Someone please read this.
Following initial vows. My advice is always chant 16 rounds minimum and follow the 4 regulative principles. All of my disciples must agree on this point, otherwise they're not my disciples. My disciples must follow these principles, living either in heaven or hell. Letter to Raja Mayapur, February 17, 1976.
Now, Srila Prabhupada has his unique way of giving those punchlines. So he says, my disciples must follow these principles, living either in heaven or hell. So basically he's saying, if your life is like that, you are going through the best days of your life, you follow the principles. And if you are going through the hellish experience in your life, still follow these principles. So it means that determination, rock steady determination, is being expected here. In whatever situation, follow it. Whatever situation. I'll tell you this story, like how Srila Prabhupada was so non-compromising. Of course, in some situations he did show flexibility. Like recently on Prabhupada's disappearance day, we were hearing one pastime. One Prabhupada disciple shared that there was a grand festival and thousands of people were visiting the temple. So there was cooking going on throughout the day, puri, sabji, halwa, everything. And then suddenly the kitchen in charge came running to Srila Prabhupada and said, we need help. Someone is required for making puris. And there's no one around, So Prabhupada called up one devotee and said, can you go and help in the kitchen? And that devotee said, Prabhupada, it's 8 p.m. at night. There had been so many services since morning. Still my 13 rounds are remaining. He had only chanted 3 rounds and 13 rounds were still remaining. So Prabhupada shouted at the devotee and said, you go to the kitchen and make puris, I'll chant your 13 rounds. So in some situations, Prabhupada was very, very flexible. So he said, you do that job, I'll chant for you. And there's another situation where Tamal Krishna Maharaj tells this story, that one devotee was helping in constructing the temple in Juhu. And he was in charge of collecting all the cement bags, talking to the laborers, So basically you can say a kind of a dirty job, because it's not easy to deal with laborers and do all that. So be with them, shout at them. So from morning to night, he would be busy doing that seva. And he would get physically extremely exhausted. So it was almost like 1:30 a.m., at night. And he goes to Tamal Krishna Maharaj and says, Maharaj, my all 16 rounds are left. Not today's, yesterday's. And I have not chanted them. And it's 1:30 a.m. and I'm feeling so sleepy. So can I, do it, the next day, carry forward. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, I cannot decide for this situation. Let's go and ask Prabhupada. He is still awake. He's translating the books. So this devotee goes, and he was feeling so sleepy. His eyes were rolling, eyeballs were rolling inside. And he went and he asked Prabhupada, it was a busy day, so many services to do, and I could not chant. So can I chant tomorrow? Means the next day. So Prabhupada looked at him and just said one sentence. He said, you promised me that you will chant 60 rounds every day, So that's all he said. You promised to me that you'll chant 60 rounds every day. And that devotee understood what did Prabhupada want to say, that you promised. So how can you now not do it? So then even the look that Prabhupada gave was very serious, that he was not joking, he was not going to compromise. And then this devotee, he came back to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked, so then he repeated the sentence, I promised that I'll chant 16 rounds every day. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, so chant. So then this devotee, he what did he do is, he went to the washroom, a bathroom. He put on the shower, and while standing below the shower, he completed his 16 rounds. He was so sleepy that, he had to complete the chanting like this. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj heard this. The shower is on, the Hare Krishna is on, and that's how he completed his chanting. So you can see Prabhupada also expected that much, that much of commitment, that much of commitment. That was his level of seriousness, you can imagine it. And here it's not that this devotee is not dedicated, not loyal, not doing seva, doing very nice seva, only doing seva, free service, not like taking any payment for it. And still the expectation from the disciple when it comes to vows is so high, it's so high. So that expectation is is expressed by Prabhupada here. In heaven or in hell, in any situation, you are supposed to follow that instruction. Okay, let's read someone else.
Following initiation vows. Okay, if somebody is reading, you can please continue.
No, read Prabhat Prabhu. Someone else can read later.
Sure, Prabhuji, just a minute. Just a minute. If you are still, if still you are unable to fulfill that promise to your spiritual master, then what is the use of calling yourself devotee and disciple? This is simply pretending. So you should think like this: that I have promised my spiritual master this. Now I must obey him without any
Okay, voice is cracking, Prabhu. I think that
exception.
the
Otherwise, I
internet
have
is.
no business calling myself his disciple. For forcing you to make very rapid. Can you hear me, bro?
Okay, it seems your voice was cracking. I'll read anyway. If still you are unable to fulfill that promise to your spiritual master, then what is the use of calling yourself devotee and disciple? That is simply pretending. So you should think like this, that I have promised my spiritual master this. Now I must obey him without any exception. Otherwise, I have no business calling myself his disciple. That will be your austerity or tapasya for forcing you to make very rapid advancement in Krishna conscious understanding. Without tapasya, there is no question of making advancement. Okay. So now, because we are a very small group, but still we can do this. It will be nice if you do this exercise. It will be good. I request all to participate. Some of you are not so actively present. Maybe you are present, your video is not on. So you can participate in this exercise, which is you have to discuss what can be the challenges, genuine reasons in following the initiation vows, any of the 4 vows very strictly, and then suggest some possible solutions. Be very specific in describing the challenge and give practical solutions to it. So this is nice because it may help you overcome a challenge if you're facing, or it can help the others, and it can also help us deal with such devotees in future, how to counsel them or guide them. Because sometimes, when a person is not able to follow the vows, a person may feel very hopeless, and may also think that I can never follow these vows. They may not ever then make their mind to take initiation. Many people, they do so. Like recently I was doing some online preaching to devotees in China, and I came to know there are not many devotees in China, though, maybe around 2,000 in total. But I came to know that many people do get connected to Krishna consciousness. However, so many of them leave because for them following 4 regulative principles is a big challenge, how to follow 4 regulative principles. They like chanting Hare Krishna, they like philosophy, they like the association of devotees. But when it comes to following the 4 regulative principles, they fail. And when they fail, then they take it, they feel very guilty about it. And then they don't feel comfortable in coming in that sangha again, because they know if they come to that sangha, then they'll have to again and again hear about these 4 principles. And because they are not able to follow, then they feel ashamed, they are embarrassed, and that's why then they avoid the sangha, go away from association. So like that, there can be many practical challenges. However, the challenges can be overcome with persistence, with encouragement, from superiors and friends, with little counseling, so that's why it's important to discuss. So what I'll do is that I'll break you in how many devotees are here? 15. So I'll put you in 3 groups, and you can raise the challenges. Also, I try to give solutions. We can have this meeting for, 8 minutes, you can say, and then you can come out and present. Assign a group leader for each group, and that group leader can present later, right? All right, thank you. Please all participate. It will be nice if all join.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hope
So-
you had a discussion.
Yes, we had a good discussion, Prabhuji.
All right.
So should I start with the points? Like,
Okay, well, let the group leaders raise their hands first. I mean, there are 3 groups, so there must be 3 group leaders. Okay, Prabhat Prabhu is there. 2 more. Who else?
Prabhuji, we didn't decide the group leader, so I would request if Rashmi Mataji could lead our group.
Okay,
Hare
fine.
Krishna.
All right, so we have 3 leaders. Fine. So let's call Prabhat Prabhu first. We can mention, I don't know how many challenges you could discuss, but if you discuss a lot of them, then maybe just mention 2. Then we go to the next, and then we'll come back to you later.
yeah, or probably within a minute of time, we can quickly tell what the problems are and what challenges,
You
about solutions.
discuss 2, then we'll come back to you. Yeah.
Sure. So first major thing is chanting 16 rounds. So 2 possible solutions we can get is see, first of all, we have to complete our chanting. So for that, either we can get up, sleep early, and get up early and complete our round so that we have sufficient time for doing our other chores. Second thing is probably if we don't have time, if we are not able to get up early, so we can chant in intervals like 4 rounds. We can chant and 4 intervals. So this way we can complete our 16 round chanting. Second is if prasadam is not available or probably any challenges in facing like following the 4 regulative principles, so in that case we can definitely get more association of devotees. If possible, at least once a week we should visit temple. Second thing is, if there is no chances of getting any association of the devotees, so in that case we can try reading Prabhupada books, or probably read some hear some lectures if there is no association of devotees. Yeah, these are the 2 points. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First one was chanting Hare Krishna, and you said we can get up early, sleep early, get up early, or we can divide the chanting into parts and complete the rounds like that. Okay, fine, that is good. Fine, all right. And the second one was any challenge in general, so association of devotees would help. Fine, okay. Can be more practical also. Yes, second group, Paramgati Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, bro. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. So we could discuss two. One is no meat eating, and the other one was illicit sex. So out of the 4 regulative principles. So meat eating, we discussed about that getting prasadam can be difficult for working people or those who are traveling outside and they don't have facility to cook, right? So what can be done? So one is, of course, one is we should know why we only need to have prasadam, so that we internally we are convinced that we only need to have prasadam. And for these situations, the devotees answered that one is minimize cooked food, that is eat fruits, dry fruits, something like that, or take some dry prasadam with you wherever you are going, so you can subsist for certain days on that. Then, or you can call up devotees, if there are any nearby devotees or there are any nearby temples or centers, something like that. Just before you travel, you can plan accordingly, and you can get the prasadam. So there was also a question raised whether uh, eating non-prasadam is meat eating. So we would like to have answer for that. So that is one. The second one was illicit sex. For that, we said normally devotees don't do the gross activity of illicit sex, but within the mind, or they might discuss about those things, or they might even watch certain restricted movies like that. So that is also part of illicit sex as per the scriptures and the lectures we have heard. So how to minimize that is, one is do good sadhana, concentrate more on your chanting first thing in the morning. That is one. The second was association of devotees is very important. You can take help of devotees. If physical association is not possible, at least now, I mean, everything is possible technically. We can be on online. We can call up devotees. We can do video call. So many things can be done and take an association of. Of course, nothing beats the physical association. And as much as possible, we can visit the temple if we are in the vicinity of a temple, or if we can at least we can visit the temple. So these are some of the solutions we discuss. And regular harikatha is important, so that we become more aware of the process and how to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Good points. Okay. We'll take the question later of meat eating and non-offered prasada or bhoga, whatever call it. Last group, Rashmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, initially we couldn't understand what's going on in the group, so we couldn't discuss much. But we discussed about the prasadam basically, and Prabhu said he was from the hotel industry, and then how he overcome and how he prayed to Radharani, that then he came into the restaurant where he joined to the vegetarian restaurant. So that's how he could overcome with that. And the other thing about the addictions, we discuss about it. How can we avoid it? Again, by prayers and mercy of an association of good friends. If you are not into Krishna consciousness, if you are in Krishna consciousness, of course, devotees are there. Devotee association is important. But suppose if you're not into association of devotees, then at least we should have good friends around us who can help us. And then how we can influence our family for following Krishna consciousness. These are the points we discussed, Prabhuji.
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Is there anything else that someone would like to add apart from what is put in the chat box? Something else someone wants to add? No. Okay. Fine. Now Nataraj Karanpur, you wanted to add something, Prabhuji?
Yes, Roji. So one of the group member also discussed that, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we have addiction of tea and coffee. So herself, she gave a solution that we can, add coriander seeds, and with sugar we can, have that, offer it to the Lord.
Yeah, that taste.
It tastes like coffee.
Yeah, it tastes like coffee. Thank you. Yes, so that is accepted very well. Srila Prabhupada also sometimes, if you go through his Leelamrita and some other books, so he mentioned that those who want to eat, those who have a lot of habit of eating meat, if they still want to feel that taste, then he gave some recipes, He said, you cook the food like this, you'll feel the taste as meat, but it's not really meat, So, but then he said that in long run, it should be avoided because after all, principle is to control the tongue also, right? But that initially, if that person is still having that craving, very strong craving, so then just to trick the mind and also trick the senses and satisfy them to some extent, that's allowed, right? So that is practical solution. And nowadays, there are so many meat substitutes which are vegetarian, completely vegetarian. So much is there because slowly now the world is turning towards vegetarianism or veganism. So many people are turning to that meat-free diet. So that can also be taken up, right? And regarding any addiction, well, the way to come out of it is very simple, and it's a common principle shared by anyone who helps one go through that process of de-addiction, is to have a good association, is to be accountable, to have someone who can always encourage you, and support you, right? Someone who understands that for a person who is used to doing something wrong will also fall sometimes, and is okay with that. Is not a fanatic that you cannot do this mistake at all, accepts that person. Like I told you that story of Srila Prabhupada being so strict with his disciple, but at the same time we should know that Srila Prabhupada was also very, very accommodating, that when devotees did mistakes, he was strict, he chastised, but he did not make them feel helpless and hopeless. He actually encouraged them, and he supported them. And then he told them, don't worry, try again. So that was always there from Srila Prabhupada. So we also need a person like that in our life when we want to come out of our weaknesses. We need someone who can give us father's love as well as mother's love. Discipline along with care, with compassion. So that is needed. Then that person can slowly come out of these issues, weaknesses. Sometimes the problems are very, very genuine, like you mentioned, a lady married in a house where others are all non-vegetarian, or they eat onion and garlic, and you have to prepare meals for everyone. Now you want to be Krishna conscious. So there are challenges. In that case, like the solution is given is good, correct. that you for yourself make a separate meal, and then offer it to Krishna and take. And sometimes um, most of the time it will not be like non-veg is cooked, only occasionally. So we have examples. There was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I think she's still alive. Her husband was a non-vegetarian, but she was a disciple of Prabhupada, a very good devotee. And Prabhupada never told her, you take divorce from your husband because he's non-vegetarian. Prabhupada said, you continue doing your duty as a wife, you continue your duty, but you practice Krishna consciousness nicely. So Prabhupada gave that instruction to her, and she would continue. And then later, after many years, her husband then left eating meat and became, a vegetarian. So we can see such guidelines given. So now there was a question: is eating food which is not offered to Krishna same as meat eating? Well, not eating food which is not offered to Krishna is eating sin, as per Bhagavad Gita. We know that shloka. Anything which is not offered to Krishna is, even if it is vegetarian, it is sinful activity. But then we cannot say it is as sinful as eating meat. That would be too much of extrapolation. It cannot be that simple, right? We cannot say it is so simple as eating meat. So if someone is not able to eat offered food, I mean, there are different ways to take it. When Srila Prabhupada was traveling in train, I remember reading this pastime, and devotees did not have anything to eat. So Prabhupada then called them and told them to buy samosas from outside, and then he said that because it is fried, it has least karmic transfer. So he said that you can take it, and then for rice, he said no. He said boiled rice or cooked rice has the highest karmic transfer. So you should never eat rice which is not offered. But he said fried items, they have least karmic transfer, cooked fried items. So you can take that. Then he also said for milk sweets, you can buy, even if it's not offered, you can eat that. That has least karmic transfer. And fruits, and of course, we know all that. So we can purchase these items and we can mentally offer them to Krishna, and then we can take, So that option is always there. Now, mentally offering to Krishna is also accepted as an offering. Many a times, it's not that because we are not in a situation to have an altar, to have a tulsi, Like I'll tell you the story of samosa. So Prabhupada told these devotees to buy samosas. They bought it from the platform. So Prabhupada was sitting, and opposite to Prabhupada, in train we have this mini tables in between two seats or two berths, right? Side tables. So Prabhupada's picture, one devotee, he brought samosas. He kept a picture of Prabhupada there, and then put samosa in front of picture and started ringing the bell. And Prabhupada was sitting right there, So this devotee was ringing the bell, chanting Namo Vishnu Padaya. His eyes were closed. And after he opened his eyes, he saw the samosa is gone from there. So then he turned around, he turned around and he saw Prabhupada was already eating samosa. So he said, Prabhupada, offering? So he said, the person to whom you are offering is sitting right in front of you. You are offering to the picture. You should have given to me directly. So he said, this is how you offer. And he ate the samosa. So you see, even Prabhupada did not go for that ritual of offering. He just started eating it. So mentally offering in those situations is acceptable. It's okay. So that's fine, but we cannot say it's as good as eating meat. Sometimes people go to that extent. Like I remember one devotee in a temple in the morning class, he told that carrots, because in the Puranas it's mentioned the carrots, they come from, the source is flesh of an animal became this vegetable called carrot. Many such vegetables came from flesh of an animal. So that's why carrot and few other vegetables are prohibited. Like you go to some ancient temples in India, they won't cook these vegetables, and during Chaturmasya it's avoided and stuff like that. But then Prabhupada never said anything like that in ISKCON to follow. So one devotee was giving this class and said, eating carrots is breaking one regulative principle. Not because it is coming from like that. So this is too much of extrapolation. It's a lot of going to the extremes and stretching the point too much. So we should not do that. Meat means meat, or anything which is meat based, that's meat. If it's not meat, it's normal vegetarian stuff, then eating it would be sinful, but not that sinful. So Prabhupada even once told that I will accept any disciple back, even if that person has broken the regulative principle of illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. But then he said that if someone starts eating meat again after taking initiation, then Prabhupada says that that person is too bad. Too bad, So one cannot go to that extent, it's too bad, because eating meat means one has to be really, really, really very cruel-hearted, to go back to that activity. So I said that's too bad. That person is really, really sinful. So these things are there. So let's go to the any questions about this topic? Also, one more thing I wanted to mention. Those who live in India, for them it's not a challenge, but those who live outside India, they have to be very careful when you buy things in the supermarket, because many products where they put this green label, they are not actually vegetarian. They don't put the green label. If you look at the list of ingredients, then some items are not vegetarian, but their problem is that they consider still vegetarian. So you have to be very, very careful. Recently I was reading a book, I think in 2000 or 2010, or when it was. So McDonald's, it released a news that the French fries that people eat at McDonald's. So what is French fry? It's just some potato chips. So people thought it's vegetarian. So many Hindus would love those French fries. And McDonald's, it released the news that actually that French fry is not vegetarian. How? Because though they fry that potato chips in the vegetable oil, but before those fries come to the restaurant, the outlet, from the factory, they are pre-seasoned so that they stay for longer period of time with animal fat. So the potatoes are seasoned with animal fat, stored, and then sent to the restaurant where they are fried in vegetable oil. So initially they said it's vegetarian because we fry in vegetable oil, but later on, of course, someone must have found the scandal and must have reported. So they confessed, and you can see so many Hindus, they were shattered that they without knowing actually ate cow fat through that McDonald's French fries. So much eating goes outside, and that's it's very unsafe to cook food outside, which is prepared outside. It's very, very unsafe. What they use, no one knows, right? And it's best to not take food from outside, which is cooked outside. Yes, Kadada Gaur Prabhu.
So Prabhu, sometime in India also we are buying the potato chips from the market sometimes. So even people claiming that also having the same type of French fry type. Is it true?
I don't know. Because I am not a food scientist, so I cannot say. But then let me tell you something. The food industry, which is there at present, even in India, many of these people, they personally are not vegetarians, and they don't. Earlier in the past, people had this fear that we cannot play with people's religious beliefs and principles. But nowadays, people hardly consider that, right?
Yes.
So yes. They won't mind if it helps them to sell their product more or whatever it may be. Then they won't mind to use such means, because it's Kali Yuga. People are getting more and more dishonest. They cheat a lot. That's why it's best not to eat food which is prepared. Best is you buy food, prepare it at home, And or if you want to go for even such situations are there when you have to buy food, then instead of buying food which is branded, coming from big corporates, food giants, better
Yes.
buy food which is prepared locally and sold in a restaurant or in a food outlet, because there are less chances of such kind of cheating in those cases.
But here I'd like to add one more thing, like ghee also. Different standards of ghees in different market, different supermarket, different shops, local. Everybody's climbing that.
Yes, that is true. So now, for that reason, devotees are these days very careful. They buy A2 ghee. Yes, Ratraj Karang Prabhu. A2, not A2.
Yes, Prabhuji, you're right.
A2, right? So A2, they should go for A2. So nowadays people are quite aware of these things, and I think now availability is no longer the issue. So much of A2 is available. I don't know, but all those who claim to be A2 are A2 or not. Again, that's a big question again. So many people claim themselves to be A2, right? So, but then you see, one thing is there, no guarantee of A2 if bought from brands. The thing is, it's very simple. If you simplify your food habits, these problems do not exist for you. But if you don't simplify our food habits and we still eat the junk food a lot, we'll have this problem, right? So if it's very simple food habit, buy raw food from market. Of course, it will have its issues, preservatives added, this, that. But still, you can be safe, quite safe. And if available, organic stores, buy from there. So if we keep simple, then these problems won't be there. The problem is that, especially in Western countries, everything comes, most of the things come canned, processed. It's very difficult to find, locally produced vegetables. If it's possible, very nice. If not, they have problem, but still they can try. Always look at the ingredient list. All right. So we have to be very careful about it, but yes, food is very important. It spoils our consciousness if it's not done properly. Okay, someone please read this. Are you able to see the screen? Yes? No? Oh, I'm sorry. Screen sharing stopped. Okay. Give me a second. Purifying processes in the heart. So now this is what Prabhupada says. Let's say someone did a mistake, could not follow a principle. So what does Prabhupada say? Someone please read.
According to Vedas, there is a certain regulation that if one falls down from his exalted position, he has to undergo certain ritualistic process to purify himself. But here there is no such condition, because the purifying process is already there in the heart of the devotee, due to his remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare should be continued without stoppage.
Yes. So Prabhupada is giving us our ultimate solution. He said you keep on chanting without stoppage. So even if unknowingly something wrong has been done, it's fine. Like I'll tell you an incident. Someone came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, this sugar which you buy in the market, the white sugar, that they use animal bone powder to give it its look, that crystalline look, very clean sugar. So should we stop then consuming sugar? And then Prabhupada said, but Krishna likes sugar, so we have to offer Krishna what Krishna likes. And then he said, no, buy sugar, make preparations from those sugar, and then offer the bhoga to Krishna. So now you see, sometimes we also need to understand that sometimes these kinds of propaganda which is there in the market of sugar being contaminated by such stuff, or the chips you buy contaminated from some kind of oil or stuff. Sometimes this is a propaganda of those people who want to increase the market for their products, because they have something else to sell. So that's why they bring in those points, because if you look at sugar, the process of making sugar, it's been going on since a long time. Even when Prabhupada was a child, that kind of white sugar was available in the market, right? And that time they did not have this advanced technology of using bone powder to give it that look. So sometimes it's not like that. It's not bad like that. And there's a false propaganda in that direction also. It's very difficult to judge, actually, very, very difficult to judge. That's why Prabhupada's comments on producing your own crops is the most safe. Have your land, have your cow and bull, grow your vegetables, fruits and crops. That would be the safest thing, Other than that, you can never trust. So here Prabhupada says, keep on chanting Hare Krishna without stoppage. That will keep you safe, protected from fall. Okay, what are some appropriate steps of rectification in the case of breaking initiation vows? What should be done? Yes, this is open question. You can raise your hand. Yes, Parangati.
Fast. Do fasting for the day.
Fasting.
At least.
Okay, fast for the day. Yes. So that is one way of doing. Yes. Only Mahamantra is the solution. Means keep on chanting. Okay. Diti Mataji.
Prabhu, to continue sadhana and do more devotional service and do more rounds of chanting.
Very good. Thank you. For some people, but unfortunately, the solution is something different. And what is that? Stop doing any sadhana. So because they become very discouraged and they feel very embarrassed. So they stop practicing Krishna consciousness. That's totally wrong thing to do. One should continue to practice Krishna consciousness. Lakshmi Mataji.
Ask pardon from spiritual master.
Yes, one should seek forgiveness. One should confess. One should seek forgiveness. Feel bad about it. There's nothing wrong to feel bad about it. These modern so-called motivational speakers, they say don't feel guilt about anything. But actually, no, you should not. One should not be like that. One should feel the guilt, because Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam that when you feel the guilt and your heart burns, because you are so repentant, that burning of the heart purifies the heart from the sinful reaction of the sin committed, So because the reaction has to come, like in another class I was telling, either you make your heart burn or material nature will make your body and mind burn. Means, there will be either internal burning or external burning. So take it either way, If not external, best go for internal. If not internal, then there'll be external burn that will be there. So one has to repent. And when we repent, then we really cry tears, salted tears of sorrow, and that helps purify the heart. Of course, from there one should not go towards the zone of depression. One should also have hope that I can come out of this situation. That hope should never be lost. That hope should always be there. I have seen this one thing that it's my understanding, I would say, not substantiating it from any scripture, but still we can find it presented in the writings of acharyas. If one is not able to follow the regular principles, but if that person is very determined to stick to chanting the holy name, one day the holy name will make that person strong enough. So one should never give up this process of chanting Hare Krishna. This is very, very potent process. So even if 4 regular principles are a challenge, for some people, it may not be a challenge on a gross platform physically, but it may be still a challenge on mental platform, on the platform of mind. So one may lapse, and the best thing is to not get discouraged and disappointed, but to keep on practicing Krishna consciousness and not leave that chanting, because that chanting has so much of strength. It can make one rise above, because chanting has the strength to cut our offenses. So the chanting definitely has the strength to cut our sins and sinful tendencies, right? So chanting should never be given up, should never be given up. That should be always done. Yes, anything else? Any other point?
Prabhuji, one point. Like, we should always understand why that mistake happened. Whatever problem we faced, we should
Okay,
know
yeah. Correct.
what's the trigger point, and we should try not
To
to
avoid.
repeat that. And second
Correct.
thing is, we can definitely consulting with the senior devotees on taking help from how we can overcome that. And third thing, if we know the problem, we got the solution. And third thing, more physical seva also we could do, like just like toilet cleaning or something, or temple cleaning. So for
Which
purification.
means, yes, accepting some kind of punishment, right? So that is very good, because if you don't punish yourself for doing something wrong, then the mind always has reasons to do it again. And mind thinks, after all, what's the price that I paid? I didn't pay any price, so let me continue doing the same thing. Sometimes even the devotees, they fall in the trap. They think, you see, the scriptures say, if you don't follow these things, you will stop doing bhakti, you'll go away from devotee association, people will disrespect you, maybe your name will be spoiled, and stuff like that. But when we see nothing of this is happening to us, then sometimes we don't feel the seriousness of the mistake. So that's why it's important to confess. It's important to take a punishment for it. That then doesn't let the mind go into that easy zone or comfort zone, that I can do it again, I can do it again. But still, more than that, I mean, that fear factor is always helpful. More than that, what is important is we be very prayerful to the Supreme Lord and ask for special grace, because our sanskars may be sometimes so bad, we carrying it from so many previous lifetimes, that it may be very difficult. Maybe that fault is in our DNA. We are born with that fault, as our nature. So in order to overcome that fault, we really need then a lot of mercy from the Supreme Lord. That can only come by praying for it, begging for it, asking for it, then that mercy can come and we can come out of that fault. Also, like Prabhu said, fasting, that reminds me of this point, that taking advantage of occasions like Kartik, Purushottam Mas, Ekadashi, to observe vows to come out of those weaknesses. Like we can make a vow that I'm doing this fast, I'm doing this extra austerity to become strong enough so that I can come out of this particular weakness. So then, as a fruit of that austerity, as a fruit of that tapasya, one may be given that strength. So this is not materialistic austerity. This is allowed because I'm doing that austerity with the purpose of becoming a better devotee, so to fulfill my spiritual goals. So that kind of solution is also very beneficial, right? That we perform extra austerities for that and pray to the Supreme Lord for that. Yes, that helps. Any other solution? Some appropriate steps for rectification?
We can read prayers of our acharyas in the mood of humility.
Correct.
If we can't pray, we can at least read the prayers of our acharyas.
Yes. We can take help from Acharya's prayers. Yes. Anything else? We can use that situation, like when Prabhupada said, take help from prayers of Acharyas. I remember, if you read the prayers of Kaliya Nag in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Kaliya was punished by the Supreme Lord, his wife, they begged the Lord, please forgive our husband. Don't kill him, spare his life, and after that, when Kalia got a chance to pray, very interesting prayer Kalia made. He said, you are not happy with me because of my envious nature, but what to do, my dear Lord? This body has been given to me by you, and it's a characteristic of this body that someone having this body is envious in nature, So he said that if I'm in this problem, I have this nature. After all, I'm coming from you only. Means I'm your son, I'm your child only, right? But I have this problem. So please forgive me, but please have some grace on me. So similarly, we have to emphasize on that point more, that whether we are good or we are bad, we belong to Krishna. We are Krishna's. And that belongingness should be emphasized. And then that will help us also overcome our weaknesses, because we'll be more Krishna conscious. And Krishna will also bestow his mercy on us, So that has to be emphasized a lot. This is a very important point, because I have seen this, many devotees, they go through this phase in their life. It may not be really related to following four regulative principles, but dealing with one's anarthas. And if one doesn't have a good attitude or proper attitude during that phase in spiritual life, many people, they drop out of the process of Krishna consciousness, or they become, skeptical about the ability of the process to change themselves. They'll start losing faith that whether this process will really work for me. I mean, it works for others, but is it going to work for me? Can I also change? Can I also become a better devotee? Can I also become a pure devotee? So they start losing on this faith, this hope. Initially everyone has this hope that yes, someday I'll also become. But slowly, no, I can't. I won't change. I will remain the way I am. So that's why this needs little shift in attitude of changing one's perception towards things and accepting the reality, the fact, and still approaching Krishna for mercy, his compassion. Then Krishna can do wonders and help us change. Yes, it will happen. Sometimes, let me also now tell you something. Sometimes for some, it will not be possible at all, because their sanskars are so bad, right? But in that situation also, those devotees should never be discouraged from practicing Krishna consciousness. They should be encouraged to continue practicing Krishna consciousness, because, in this life, they may not go back to Godhead. But if they continue to practice, they will have a very good life next time. And in that life, they can go back to Godhead, right? So telling you some incidents from Prabhupada's life, how he dealt with these situations. When Prabhupada was present on the planet, many of his disciples, even during his presence, were not able to follow the principles, because they came from a very bad background. And Srila Prabhupada knew it. But Srila Prabhupada never brought that too much in the limelight or forefront, because he knew that his disciples were sincere. They were struggling. They were not able to keep up to the standards, but they were not dishonest. They were not cheating. They were trying. It's just that they were weak because of bad sanskars. They were weak. So Prabhupada, though he said many times, I'll reject them, I'll cut off my relationship with them and all of that. But Prabhupada never did that. He never rejected anyone, never, ever. Like Tamal Krishna Maharaj says this. He told Prabhupada, one of your disciples is still smoking. Prabhupada said, initiated? And he said, yes. So Prabhupada told, okay, you call him now. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and Prabhupada said, you tell him that if you don't stop smoking, Srila Prabhupada will reject you. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj called up that devotee and said, Prabhupada is saying so. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj kept the phone and asked Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, will you reject? And Prabhupada said, of course not. I cannot reject. How can I reject? If someone has come to me, I cannot reject. So, externally, yes, very serious, but internally also very, very understanding and compassionate, that, sometimes people are weak. So you have to continue encouraging them and supporting them. This doesn't become a license for people to remain weak and, continue to do the wrong thing. But we need to understand that neither should we be very harsh with those who are not able to follow. And sometimes if someone personally also is not able to follow because of very bad past, then also not be very harsh on oneself, and because that harshness will then be damaging to devotional life, right? Rather, be very honest and accept that, okay, if I am weak, I am weak, but still I will practice Krishna consciousness. And this attitude is very much appreciated by Krishna, because then Krishna begins to understand that you are so selfless that even though you know you are not really going to go back to Godhead in this life because of your weaknesses, still you are not giving up Krishna. And Krishna appreciates that, that this person has genuine attraction towards me, but perhaps this person's sanskars background don't really support his, his following the principles, right? So this point has to be understood very maturely by devotees. Okay. One biggest mistake a person can do is that if someone does anything wrong, then publicly make an announcement about it. That's very wrong, very, very wrong. Srila Prabhupada, again, I'll tell you one incident. Prabhupada had a disciple, a sannyasi, and who was very powerful. He went to Australia and he brought such a revolution in the country that after America, then Australia became the next biggest, you can say, playground for Hare Krishnas to expand. And they were opening new and new temples, number of buses were increasing, festivals, devotees joining, and Prabhupada was so happy with the success of that yatra. And this sannyasi was young, so he had some problems in observing the vows. Prabhupada came to know about it, and Prabhupada said that, okay, I'll meet him next in America and then we'll sort it out. But then something happened. The sannyasi left the ashram, changed the clothes, left the movement, and went to US. So Prabhupada told him, don't worry, next time when I'm there in US, in few months, you come to see me. This was just going on between Prabhupada and that sannyasi, that devotee. Internally, this was going on. However, one devotee, who was also another leader in ISKCON, he disclosed this news publicly, and it became spread like a wildfire. Everyone came to know about it. So Prabhupada then was talking to that devotee, and then that devotee mentioned, Prabhupada actually, now everyone knows about it. So Prabhupada said, then who told? And then devotee mentioned the name. Prabhupada called that devotee and said, you know what you have done? So that devotee said, Prabhupada, I was helping the devotees by telling devotees that this devotee is now fallen, so don't trust him. So Prabhupada said that maybe you think you are helping other devotees, but what you have done now, I was trying to bring this devotee back to the movement, but what you have done now, you have taken away all the chances for bringing this devotee back. Now this devotee will never come back, So Prabhupada felt very sad, and he said, you spoiled my last chance to bring this devotee back, So because Prabhupada knew that someone who was so popular and suddenly the name is tainted with, these black spots, how bad that person will feel. So Prabhupada, what was his plan is, he was ready to call that devotee back, and then if the devotee would have shown little sincerity, given him sannyas again, he was ready to even do that, But then because of another disciple's foolishness, he could not. So you see, Prabhupada was how sensitive he was, how mature he was in practically dealing with such situations, right? As per rules on the page, yes, we are very strict about these things, but we also know that because of Kali Yuga and because of very bad past life habits, it may not be always possible for people to really be there on that standard mark. And still we don't ever discourage them from following Krishna consciousness, practicing Krishna consciousness. They should be encouraged, they should be supported, and they should be inspired to make progress, right? So that's I think enough on this topic. Let's read some more few things. Last quote on this topic. Tug of war, I'll read it. This is tug of war, so don't be afraid of Maya. Simply enhance chanting and you'll be conqueror. That's all. Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashyati. You just declare, my devotee will never be vanquished by Maya. Maya cannot do anything. Simply you have to become strong. And what is that strength? Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Loudly. Yes. That's a strength, right? Okay, now this topic is again a very big topic, I would say. So we cannot touch upon all those aspects. There are many solutions to this problem. The one last solution that I have heard from many devotees and I would like to offer is this. If the members of our movement, they keep themselves very busy in their life, doing services, taking care of their responsibilities, then there'll be very less chances of falling victim to one's weaknesses. But if we give our mind little space, to freak out, then the mind can always take us on a roller coaster ride, So this is something we be careful about. Be very busy in our life, keeping ourselves really, really busy. That will protect us a lot, very much protect us. It's something which really, really works very well. Okay, next we have Guru Puja, the topic of Guru Puja. Why do we worship the Guru? Yes, please. Why do we worship the Guru? Basic answers, esoteric answers, whatever you can share.
To seek his mercy.
To what?
Seek his mercy.
To seek his mercy. Okay. Yes. Parul Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So Guru is as good as the Supreme God himself.
He is representative of the Supreme Lord. Yes, he is the Supreme as representative, so should be respected. Diti Mataji.
Prabhu, he is a medium who can, through whom we can aspire to go back to, go back to Lord.
Thank you. Worship is a means of showing respect, is a way of showing respect, right? Mercy, worship is a way of showing respect. Like Sudama came to meet Krishna and Krishna offered an artik to Sudama because Sudama was a Brahmin and Krishna was a king, a Kshatriya. So that artik was offered to Sudama because that was a culture of showing respect. Similarly, we show respect. We offer puja to the Guru, And why we show respect? Like all the reasons you said, representative of the Supreme Lord. What else?
Because he's very dear to the Lord.
Very dear to the Lord. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. And what else? Worshipping devotee of Krishna is very essential for us because Krishna says, those who worship my devotee or those who are devotees of my devotee, they are my devotee. Right? Kwan Tia Mataji. To take blessing. You have to unmute Mataji. Come
on. Gratitude.
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 Show one's gratitude. Show one's gratitude. Very good. Thank you. All right. So let's see some quotations. Saksha Daritvena Samasta Shastre. Uktastatha Bhavayata Eva Sadbhi. The spiritual master is honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. Aradhana nam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarshanam. Of all kinds of worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is the rendering of service to Vaishnavas who are related to Lord Vishnu. And what are the ways we worship our founder Acharya? Diti Mataji?
Prabhu, by paying obeisances and offering pranam mantra.
That is also worship. Very good. Yes. By offering obeisances, chanting pranam mantras. Yes. Parangati Prabhuji.
By reading his purports, studying his purports nicely.
Yes, that is also worship. Worshipping the instruction is also worshipping the spiritual master. Right? Worshipping the body and worshipping the instructions. Following orders, that's also worship. But then what are the ways of externally, demonstrating the worship? Pranam mantras, of obeisances. Yes. Diti Mataji.
Doing Guru Puja daily.
Doing Guru Puja, offering Aarti, doing Guru Puja daily. Very important to do it daily. Sometimes, for devotees who don't live in temple, it is like we'll do these things only when we go to the temple. But these things can be done as a personal daily, practice. I'll take an example. I've heard from devotees who travel with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and they mentioned that even at this age and after spending so many years in the movement, if Maharaj is traveling at the hours of the Artik, let's say he's traveling in the early morning hours when it is Mangalatik time or it is Guru Puja time. So still, even after being a devotee for so many years, sitting in the car, he will sing that Artik, he'll not miss it. Whether it's Tulsi Puja, whether it's Narshing Aarti, whether it's Guru Puja, he'll do that every day, that's what we should learn from our acharyas, that we should be doing it daily. Even if we miss it, we should be doing it. It doesn't take time. It just needs that we are conscious. Like for example, how much time does it need to sing that whole Aarti? It just takes 5-10 minutes if you want to do it in your mind, or you want to just softly, sing it to yourself. It just needs few minutes. And that one can do even while walking, while doing some activity. One can just do that. One may say, well, it is mechanical. Yes, it's good to do it mechanical rather than not doing it at all, So if we are traveling from one place to another place, we can do it in our mind. We can sing those aartis, those prayers. And because devotees don't sing it often, that's why they don't remember also, many times. But if we sing it often, we will not forget. We'll remember all these prayers. So this can be included in a personal spiritual sadhana, that we sing these prayers. Memorize them and sing them daily. If possible in temple, if not at home, if not, then while you're walking, you're working at your workplace, anytime, take out time and let these things go in your mind. So that is there, yes, offering Guru Puja every day to Srila Prabhupada, right? What else? Vyas Puja of Srila Prabhupada, yes, offering flowers. And then we have titles, restricted titles, His Divine Grace to Srila Prabhupada, right? So these are worship. And this is something, another thing which I was always eager to share in IDC course. Sometimes we have devotees who not live in the temple. They think our deity worship will begin only when we have deities at home. Till the time we don't have deities at home, no deity worship. But this is very wrong again. Even if we have pictures at home, we should do deity worship. It's very purifying exercise. It's very purifying, and it's also very nice way of bringing all the members of the family together and giving them this habit of daily worshipping the Supreme Lord. This is something which puts very good sanskars in children, actually. When they see the adults every day religiously do artik, do deity worship, then it puts very good sanskar in the children. So even if you don't have deities, we should do some kind of deity worship at home. With pictures also, no problem. Prabhupada himself did that. I was reading in one book. So Prabhupada, when he was married, his wife was not always very supportive towards practicing Krishna consciousness. Mind you, his wife was initiated devotee. She was a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So, but she was not a very serious devotee. I mean, she would still drink tea and eat biscuits from outside, which means she had taken initiation because Prabhupada told her to take initiation. She was not really into, serious Krishna consciousness. However, as a ritual and culture, she would follow Krishna consciousness. So she was not very supportive. And Prabhupada thought, if I have deities at home, then there has to be so much of, strictness, offering of bhoga, offering of dresses, putting them to rest, waking them up. And he thought, I alone cannot do, I need help from my family, but they are not supportive. So our Acharya, our founder Acharya, such a great devotee of Krishna, he for many years only worshipped pictures, just pictures. But his godbrother says that Prabhupada would worship those pictures with the same love, same sincerity as if he would worship a deity of Krishna, So waking them up in the morning, putting them to rest at night, offering them some bhoga, cleaning the altar, singing them arti, offering incense and lamp. So this can be done by anyone. It just doesn't take so much time. And one should do that. Have pictures and offer obeisances to them daily. Not that only when we go to temple, we'll offer obeisances to Prabhupada. Have a photo of Prabhupada at home and every day offer obeisances to that photo. In the morning, at night, every day as a practice. So this is important. This should be done. Okay. Benefits of daily worship Guru Puja, we already kind of discussed. It allows us to keep connected and not forget, the mercy that we get from the spiritual master. So we should chant pranam mantras, we should remember them. Okay, please read.
Kennedy, bro.
Okay.
Yes, Kennedy.
Not self-aggrandizement. So this Guru Puja which we are doing, it is not self-aggrandizement, it is real teaching. Using daily, what is that? Guru Mukha Padma Vyakya Arana Karya Aikya. But this is translation. I tell you frankly, whatever little success is there in this Krishna consciousness movement, I simply believe what was spoken by my Guru Maharaja. You also continue that, then every success will come.
Yes, every success will come. So you can read this page 43 from the handbook, Formal Worship of ISKCON Gurus. And what should be done, what should not be done, that is also mentioned there, right? That's very important. Okay, then some reflections about attending a Vyas Puja ceremony. Okay, this is nice actually. How many of you have attended a formal Vyas Puja ceremony program for Srila Prabhupada in any temple? How many of you attended? Okay, very good. How many of you attended, if you are initiated or aspiring from a particular spiritual master, the Vyas Puja for that spiritual master? Never. Okay, some of you attended, right? And how many of you attended Vyas Puja of another spiritual master who is not your Diksha Guru, but is in ISKCON, is a bona fide spiritual master? And if I ask you, and you will be honest to reply to this question, whether it's Prabhupada's Vyas Puja, whether it's your spiritual master's Vyas Puja, or whether it's the Vyas Puja of some other spiritual master, in all those events, what is the experience? Though the person is different, Vyas Puja is of different personalities. But what is the experience? When we attend that ceremony, sit there, hear about the glories of that person, the sacrifices, the dedication, the services done by that spiritual master, and see the other devotees pour out their gratitude, offer respects. What is the feeling? Okay, process is same. What else? What happens? Parangati Prabhu?
So in every Vyas Puja, we can't help but feel that, whatever Srila Prabhupada has done, it is unparalleled. So in every Vyas Puja, Srila Prabhupada is directly or indirectly glorified.
Yes, okay. Yes. Okay, good point. I like this point in the chat box, Rasika Piti Mataji. Listening to so many glorifications fills us with gratitude. Now, this is something which I always experienced. It doesn't matter who the person was. It doesn't matter how much I knew that person. But when you hear devotees sincerely, outpour their heart and gratitude towards that Vaishnava, then you also start swimming in that ocean of gratitude, for some time. Maybe it's not very long experience, but at least those moments you also start feeling, oh, such a nice Vaishnava, such a nice devotee. So that feeling comes in the heart, and maybe little appreciation comes towards that person. Maybe we don't like, maybe we may not have a good experience of the management of the Vyas Puja, or the whole ceremony, how it was carried forward, or whatever it may be. The externals we may not like always, the crowd and all that, but that process, that is very purifying actually to the heart. Very, very purifying. I have experiences that even if, let's say, someone comes and makes a baby offering, but if that offering is done with so much of feeling, you also feel so nice, and you feel as if your bhakti lata, is watered by that, nourished by that, right? So this is very nice, and there's nothing wrong about it. Like, I'll tell you something. Srila Prabhupada had a disciple, I mentioned about this before, in Hawaii, who had his own movement, and Prabhupada initiated him, and his disciples also came to ISKCON. So one disciple of Prabhupada reported to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, these people, means the other group devotees who are also your disciples, instead of saying Jai Prabhupada, they say Jai, and they take the name of that sannyasi. I don't remember the names, it's slipping out of my mind. It was something like Jivanand or whatever. So Jai, that name, Jai, that name, Jai, that name. And then this devotee thought maybe Prabhupada will be very angry. But Prabhupada said, what's wrong about it? It's always nice to glorify a Vaishnava. It's always nice to glorify a Vaishnava. So when I read that, how interesting it is that who is that person in comparison to Srila Prabhupada, a neophyte. And Prabhupada said it's always nice to glorify a Vaishnava, which means that even if you glorify a neophyte Vaishnava, this is something which Krishna appreciates. And if I do that, it will purify me. It will purify me. It is going to be purifying experience. So Vyas Pujas are like that. And devotees, that's why should attend Vyas Pujas, where one can have this experience of gratitude. All right, so let's move on in our presentation. Please, someone read this. Yes, Prabhu. Purifying prasadam, very true. Most delicious prasadams are there during Vyas Puja celebrations. Yeah.
Vyas Puja.
Yes, Sushant Prabhu, read.
Yes, Vyas Puja. Herein lies the secret of Sri Vyasa Puja. When we meditate on the transcendental pastimes of the absolute Godhead, we are proud to feel that we are his eternal servitors, and we become jubilant and dance with joy. All glory to my divine master, for it is he who has, out of his unceasing flow of mercy, stirred up within us such a movement of eternal existence. Let us bow down at his lotus feet.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So there's another quotation now. Unmute yourself, Prabhu. Quotation: Ye me bhakta jana partha na me bhaktascha te janaha mad bhakta nam cha ye bhaktas te me bhakta tamamataha. Very famous from Adi Puran, Krishna telling to Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servant are factually my devotees. Okay. Can we get the slides? Yes, you can, no problem. We will share. Let's do the last lesson for today. which is lesson number 9, Guru Seva. After that, if you have any questions, we'll take the questions. Okay, Guru Seva. Fine, now there are 2 questions that you see on the screen. They may seem to be same, and they are actually same, but still they are a bit different. What are the ways we can serve our Guru? And what are the ways we can serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada? So let's answer first question first, and then we go to the second question. You should be thinking about the answer to this question, not just from a very superficial platform, because this question has a strategic reason why it's been there, or why this topic is put in this book of ISKCON Disciples Course. So what are the ways we can serve our Guru, and what are the ways we can serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada? First question. Yes, devotees. You don't want to serve your Guru in any way. Prabhat Prabhu?
Prabhuji, we can definitely, whatever the orders are, and how our Guru, what is the mission of our Guru? Definitely, there are some services which are dedicated to our Guru, and he is having some mission. So we should help him in whatever way he wants us to help. So
Correct.
that is what we should do. And should I also add the second point?
Yeah, you can add.
Okay. So for serving the mission of Prabhupada, eventually our Gurudev is also doing the same. And how we can help, how we can serve in the mission of Srila Prabhupada is definitely the 7 purposes which are there of ISKCON.
Okay, now don't talk about 7 purposes, because that's very, very, broad. We have to really come to practical ways, Those 7 purposes are very broad.
Correct. I'm saying, actually, I was saying that at least 1 point, even if we pick, and let's suppose if we all know that Srila Prabhupada is happy if we distribute his books, and he guarantees that he would deliver us. So this one thing which we can also practice.
Also, and yes, that point, book distribution can be done. Fine. So that's good point. Nagendra Prabhu.
Sometimes if we are in outside the country, staying and living there, so we cannot meet our Guru directly to serve. By following Guru instruction also we can serve.
Okay, very good. We can follow instruction. We cannot directly serve. So follow instruction. Diti Mataji.
Maybe Prabhu, physically, if the Guru is maybe, if he wants to travel somewhere, we can help Guru, booking his tickets or making travel arrangements or something.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can offer practical services like helping in travel, helping in packing, serve prasadam, cook, wash clothes, buy stuff from the market, take him to the doctor, so many things can be done. So that is service to the Guru, or helping the Guru in his project, in building up a temple, in running a Sankirtan party, right? All that. Vapu Seva, that's one kind of Seva. Then instructions, help the Guru in preaching, distribute books written by the Guru, so many things, fund collection for the spiritual master. And then there can be numerous ways of serving the Guru. And serving Prabhupada's mission, can we have some points for that? Rashmi Mataji?
Prabhupada's mission is like surrendering to him and following his missionary activities. He's given to Guru Maharaj, and through him we can follow his activities.
Okay. So these questions, when you are trying to answer, if you think it takes a lot of time to think about an answer, then please know that you have to sit down and think about these answers, because this is what we individually should be doing. We should have a service to Prabhupada's movement or mission. We should have some service to our Guru. It should be there. This cannot be a blank space in our life. It has to be there, So that's important. Yes, Paramgati Prabhu.
We can actually cooperate with our extended God family by doing different disciples of different gurus.
Yes.
Cooperating with them.
Cooperating with them. Thank you. By doing that, you are serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada to bring new people to ISKCON. Yes. Guru Kennedy Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, by following the 4 regulative principles very strictly until your last breath, and also sharing the knowledge that you learned from the Guru Maharaj and also from the Srila Prabhupada books with others, and spread the knowledge as much as you can.
Thank you. As much as you can. Preaching, book distribution. Yes, Diti Mataji. Last point.
Prabhu, by donating funds for printing of books.
Correct. Very good. Thank you. So you see there's a table in your handbook, page 46. You can fill it up later, or yes, later you can do that. So ways we can serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada, ways we can serve the ISKCON mission is distributing books, fundraising, prasadam distribution, account management, deity worship, cleaning the temple, managerial services, or just spreading the awareness, the preaching, right? Ways we can serve our Guru, and we did discuss all of that. Now, sometimes, though it is connected, Prabhupada's service is service to Guru. Service to Guru is service to Prabhupada. It is connected. Like if I am serving in the temple of my spiritual master, then definitely that is also service to Srila Prabhupada, because after all, that temple also belongs to Srila Prabhupada, right? Correct. So it is connected. At the same time, there is difference. So this is Achintya Beda Ved. Sometimes some people emphasize a lot simply just helping one's own Diksha Guru, and they forget the community. They forget the bigger society, which is wrong. We have to take a very holistic approach. Like to give you an example, there's a family of 10 people. So if there is a lady in that family who is supposed to prepare meals, if she says, after all, my husband is the most important person, so I only cook for my husband. And others, well, if my husband is satisfied, everyone should be satisfied, so I don't cook for others. That's not going to work. You're in a family, so you have seva or responsibility towards every single person in that family. Similarly, when we belong to a society, we have responsibility towards all the people there, So when we belong to a community, we have responsibility towards everyone there. So we cannot just say, I will be only responsible towards one person. No. Naturally, being a part of community, you become responsible towards everyone. And this is something very important to understand. Sometimes we take a magnifying glass and we just try to narrow down our approach to one person, one project, and we think in a very tiny manner, not thinking of the whole society, how our actions affect on the bigger, if you look at the larger picture, how does it affect the movement, the society, Prabhupada's mission? We don't think about that. And that's very unhealthy from the bigger perspective. It's so unhealthy. So there has to be a balance, that we should see that, yes, our seva is there to our spiritual master, but also we have some seva towards the mission. Like to give an example, once one devotee, he was asking this question, there was a discussion going on. So that devotee is a preacher. So another devotee asked that devotee, whatever dakshina you get when you preach, what do you do with that dakshina? So this devotee said, I give it all to my spiritual master. So this devotee said, that's very nice. You give it all to your spiritual master. That's fantastic. So, and he said, but then do you also give something to ISKCON? Means the temple to which you are connected and anything like that. So he said, no, my Gurudev initiated me. So, I'm sold out servant to my Gurudev. So I am my Gurudev's property. So whatever money I get in dakshin is also my Guru's property. So it all goes to my Guru. right? So then the devotee asked a very nice question, very interesting question. He said that if that is so, when you have to eat prasadam, then why do you go to ISKCON temple? Then why do you go to ISKCON temple? If your guru, if you are sold out servant of your guru, then as per the scriptures, you should not eat prasadam if your guru is not giving you prasadam, isn't it? That is the law, that if the guru doesn't call for prasadam, don't eat, fast. So then you should fast, or you should only eat when you go to your guru's ashram and you are given prasadam. Then don't go to ISKCON and eat prasadam. And then this, no, that is not logical, and this is not how it works. But the devotee said, I'm not telling you to not go and eat prasadam, you should go. But I'm trying to make a point is that you are also taking so much from that society, from that institute, from those temples. So you also have to do something there. Like that example, if I belong to a family, I have to serve every person there in the family. I have a duty towards every single person. I cannot just, pick someone, choose someone and say, no, this person only I care for and others I don't care for. That approach is actually a very, very childish approach, of just picking up one or two people and then, try to only serve them. Rather, what one should be doing is that one should look at one's all roles, different roles one has, and try to do a justice to each one of them. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. It's very much needed for our complete growth in Krishna consciousness, So what principles I try to follow in my personal life since the time I have come to this movement is that if I get benefit from anyone, then I always try to keep a note that somewhere or other I try to return, return in any way, whether it is through seva, whether it is through some donation, whether it is through anything, but not just take it for granted, not that, okay, I have to only pay back to my spiritual master and I have to only serve my spiritual master. Because I have received the benefit from someone, then it is naturally my human dharma to give back to that person, to help that person back. So that should be understood. Because sometimes we don't understand these subtle nuances, our progress in spiritual life becomes slackened, because we may be very, very grateful to one, but we may be also very ungrateful to someone else, and we forget that someone else also happens to be a Vaishnava, So then this thing doesn't work, This was the problem with Dhritarashtra. Once one spiritual master in ISKCON was giving a class on this topic, and I really like this point that spiritual master said, what was the problem with Dhritarashtra? The only problem was that though he loved his brother Vidura and Vidura was a Vaishnava, but he hated Pandavas who were also Vaishnavas. That was his problem. And because of that, Dhritarashtra could never become a devotee. Because he loved his brother Vidura, but he hated Pandavas. So this thing has to be understood, that Vaishnava means, it means really, really your appreciation should increase for many, many other Vaishnavas, and our service should also increase to many Vaishnavas. That is the whole concept. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there's this shloka, I don't remember which one. It is said that when a lady gets married and she comes to a house, she should be given the training that she serves all the members of that house. Not only all the members of that house, all the guests who come to that house with the same sincerity as she would serve her husband. You see what approach Srimad Bhagavatam is asking one to take, But if you look at the modern culture is, I love you and I only love you. And then others, they don't exist for me. And they think this is called like exclusive love, but this is not so. Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, whereas he says in one of his books that you should love your god brothers, god sisters, your spiritual family members with the same love that you have for your spiritual master, then said that is called pure love, that's called pure love, so that much love you should have. That's unconditional love. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives a very good definition. This is my favorite. He says he says presence of pure love means absence of hatred towards anyone. So that's an amazing. He says presence of pure love means absence of hatred towards anyone. That's pure love. Not that he says presence of pure love means complete focus on Radha Krishna. He says absence of hatred towards anyone. That's pure love. So this is something which we want to reach to. This is the goal. So that's how we have to understand. We have to start living a life like that. Taking everyone who comes to our life and being grateful to them and serving. So one should serve the Guru, spiritual master, and also one should serve Prabhupada's mission, right? It's interconnected. Still, there are some differences, and we should take care to both. We should do both. It's very important, right? Very, very important. Okay, so this point is there in page number 47, meeting obligations in a balanced manner. Just like we do in a general day-to-day life. If you are a working employee, you are loyal to the company, you fulfill all your duties towards the company. If you're a husband, then you fulfill all your duties towards the wife. If you're a parent, you fulfill all the duties towards the child. And it's not same, right? It's not same. Just, I can ask actually, in fact, here, those of you are married, if you give time to your wife, to your spouse, and you don't give your time to your children, will they be happy? No, they will complain. Papa, you're spending all the time with mama. You are not giving us any time, right? Isn't it? Naturally. And even let's say you're spending all the time with the child, still the mother who has given birth to those children, she will also complain, that nowadays you don't spend any time with me. So it's natural to go through that. So similarly, we have to also understand in spiritual society, spiritual circle, we are responsible and accountable to many people, and we have to value those relationships. It's very important, very, very important, and come out of that idea that only this person, no one else. In fact, that attitude is not appreciated much by the spiritual master. This attitude of only picking up few people and just, serving them or liking them and not liking others. This is not appreciated by spiritual master, because spiritual master wants us to grow in our love, unconditional love, pure love. So spiritual master is more happy when you also begin to share that with others around. Okay, let's read further. You cannot pay. Someone please quickly read why Guru Seva should be done.
Just like you purchase something.
Just like if you purchase something.
Okay, Kamakshi Prabhu, please.
Just like if you purchase something, you must pay for it. Therefore, it is called sevaya. You cannot pay by returning the value, which is taught by spiritual master. That is not possible. Therefore, it is called sevaya. Dedicated your life for his service. You cannot pay. What you have got to pay a spiritual master.
Correct. You cannot pay. So seva is basically an expression that because I have received so much from you, I want to give back. And this is so important. This is a very, very important point for making spiritual progress. We must give back. We must give back. We must give back. Those devotees who don't do this, they don't progress so much. It's nice to chant 16 rounds. It's nice to follow 4 regulative principles. It's nice to read the books every day. It's nice to be a exemplary sadhaka. But then that's not sufficient. We also have to do some seva other than this. If sadhana is seva, there would not be 2 different words, sadhana and seva, right? 2 different words means, yes, even if they are the same, they are different also. So sadhana is there and seva is also there. Sadhana is which is done to keep oneself spiritually healthy. That is to protect ourselves from, the Maya around us and Maya inside us. But then seva is out of gratitude, now I want to do something to please that person. So, go beyond extra steps to make that person happy. And that is like, what do you want to do? What is that? What is your mission? Prabhupada asked Bhaktisiddhanta always this question: how can I serve you? What can I do for you? So sometimes we forget this point that the Guru also has a mission. The mission is not just deliver me, that is there, but there is also something else, something more. The Guru wants to do something for his own Guru. The Guru wants to do something for the parampara, and the Guru needs support. The Guru needs people to come forward and help in that. So, so coming forward to take that responsibility is called seva. Helping in that in some way, going to that, taking that extra pain, that's called seva. So Prabhupada says, we do that with the attitude, I want to do something because I have received so much. I want to do something because I have received so much. I want to do something because I have received so much. So that comes forth from gratitude. I want to give back. I don't know if we have time to share this story. We are already soon we'll strike 9. But if you say yes, I'll tell the story. If you say no, then we'll skip the story. No, yes, no, yes.
Yes,
Yes, we can carry on.
All right. So very nice story it is actually. So Srila Prabhupada had a disciple of name Brahmanand Prabhu. I like this story very much. Brahmanand Prabhu was the first in many things. Brahmanand Prabhu was the first temple president in ISKCON. He was the first person to go to Africa to preach. He was the first person to go to Japan for printing Bhagavad Gita as it is. He was the first person to go to Pakistan to preach. He was the first person to stand up and dance when Prabhupada was chanting Hare Krishna in the park. So he was first in many, many ways. Means Prabhupada always considered to him as one of the trustworthy servants, Brahmanand Prabhu. And he had a very glorious life, of course. His contributions are huge. So, Brahmanand Prabhu, when he joined the temple, he had $5,000. $5,000 is big money. And he gave all of that to Prabhupada. Because what should a disciple do? Surrender. So everything he gave to Prabhupada. So after that, he was living in the temple, serving in the temple, full-time devotee. And one day he saw that Prabhupada had some guests. He did a program. So he removed those Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, 3-volume sets from the Almirah and was distributing them. So he was selling them actually for $16. Three books, $16. Prabhupada's mathematics was very simple. He was selling those 3 books in India for 16 rupees. So when he went to US, people asked how much. He said $16. So very simple mathematics. So he was paying them for selling them for $16. And Brahmanand Prabhu saw Prabhupada was personally signing each of those volumes and giving. So he developed this spiritual greed that I should also get these copies because it will be a lifelong treasure. I can always hold these books personally signed by Prabhupada. Prabhupada printed them. So he went to Prabhupada's desk and he told Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, I also would love to have these copies personally signed by you. So Prabhupada said, okay, no problem. Everyone is taking, you also take. So he took, Prabhupada signed, and then he was going to, stand up and leave. So Prabhupada said, $16. So at that time, Brahmanand Prabhu really felt as if the floor was pulled, away from below his feet, because he never expected Prabhupada to ask $16 from him. He thought, I have given $5,000. Come on. This can also be a token of, a return gift, a token of appreciation that, okay, you gave me $5,000, take $16 worth book as a free gift. So he thought, why is Swamiji so money-minded, asking me for $16? I already gave $5,000. So in his mind, he was not able to appreciate that behavior of Srila Prabhupada, that why Prabhupada is bent upon $16. I mean, and the next question was, this was first major question. And the second major question was how to get it now. I live in the temple, I don't have a job, I gave everything. So first, why Prabhupada wants it? Second, how will I get it? How will I get the $16? So then he thought, okay, first question, we'll leave it on time. Second question, I'll do something. He went to a restaurant, took up a job there as a waiter, worked there for a few days. And then whatever salary he got from there, he used that to pay to Prabhupada. He told Prabhupada, I don't have it now, I'll give you after a few days. And then he gave it to Srila Prabhupada. So then Brahmanand Prabhu, he says, for years, this thing was always in my mind. Why Prabhupada asked, why Prabhupada asked, why Prabhupada asked. But as he was chanting, as he was becoming a better and better devotee, one day he got the answer. And what that answer was, he thought, of course, Prabhupada was not greedy for money. I mean, no doubts about it. Because how can someone be greedy for money and not take any money for himself? Like Prabhupada did not save any money for himself. He gave everything to ISKCON, to BBT, to this, to that, not that he had a personal account where some interest would go for himself, nothing like that. So he is not greedy about money, that's for sure. So that thing is ruled out. But why did he ask for those $16? So then Brahmanand Prabhu was thinking, perhaps Prabhupada wanted to teach me a lesson. That can be the only reason that he asked me for those $16. And then he was thinking, what can be that lesson that he wanted me to learn? So then he realized, perhaps Prabhupada saw in me this virus, this wrong thinking, that I was thinking by paying those $5,000 to Prabhupada, I had purchased Prabhupada. I had purchased my guru, right? So maybe I had that anartha in me. And I was thinking these $5,000 are worth the price of taking initiation, of getting all the guidance from spiritual master. I bought my spiritual master. But then, like we read here, Prabhupada says, you cannot pay back. $5,000, what to speak of $5,000? $5 billion also, if we give to the spiritual master, we cannot pay back for what we get in return, that transcendental knowledge, the opportunity to go back to Godhead. We cannot pay back, right? Isn't it? So that was the point that Prabhupada wanted to teach Brahmanand Prabhu. And Brahmanand Prabhu learned it. Yes, I had a fault in my thinking. I was wrong in my thinking. I was thinking that I should get something back, right, in return. Oh, Sri, thank you for allowing me to share the story. Spread the message, please, quickly. Someone.
Spread the message. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya must preach Krishna consciousness in every village and town in the world. That will satisfy the Lord. This order comes down through the parampara system, and the spiritual master presents these orders to the disciples so that he can spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the duty of every disciple to carry out the order of the bona fide spiritual master and spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.25, Los Angeles, June 23, 1972.
Correct. Now you see, Prabhupada's instruction to preach is an open instruction. I mean, really an open instruction. He is giving that instruction to each one of us. Yes, even if you have not met Prabhupada, it's an open instruction. He says, if you are a bona fide member of the society, then you have the instruction to preach this message, not just in your town, in your city, there's all over the world, so that much is the geo spread of his instruction. And it's an open instruction. One should do that. Real association. Please quickly read this.
Real association. You write that you have desired to avail of my association again. But why do you forget that you are always in association with me? When you are helping my missionary activities, I am always thinking of you and you are always thinking of me. That is real association. Letter to Govinda, Los Angeles, August 17, 1960.
Correct. That is real association. And this is something we have to understand. We'll talk about it later in the next session. Real association means to be united in desire, united in mission, not just coming together physically. Real association means really together in purpose. That's very important. And for that purpose, if physically we come together, wonderful. If we are not coming together physically, again, wonderful. There's no problem, nothing wrong. So we must have that purpose. It's very important. A unified purpose. Why do I exist as a devotee? Why do I exist as a member of this society? I should have a purpose. And that purpose is our connection actually to the parampara. All those activities that we do as sadhana, that is to become a qualified soldier in the army of the Supreme Lord. But a qualified soldier doesn't mean that one who is only healthy, eats 3 meals a day, is very healthy. No, qualified soldier means one who goes to the battle and fights also. Correct? Right? Similarly, sadhana is there so that my sadhana can make me strong enough, healthy enough to do seva, qualified to do seva. That's why the sadhana is there, so that I can do some seva for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So one should have this unity of purpose. That's the real unity. Srila Prabhupada in his book, in his poem to his spiritual master, adored the happy day, he wrote for Bhaktisiddhanta in 1936, I think. Very beautiful poem, not 1936, which year, I'm not sure, maybe 36 or maybe before. So he said that in one of the paragraphs he wrote that you have brought us the service to Lord Chaitanya in a very, very, interesting, I'm just paraphrasing, in a very interesting and fulfilling manner. So this is how Srila Prabhupada saw his connection to his Guru, that his connection to his Guru was his seva to his Guru, of spreading Krishna consciousness in English language. So that's how every single disciple should also find one's own connection to one's spiritual master. What is that connection? What is that seva that connects me to my spiritual master? Sadhana connects, no doubt about it. But sadhana plus there has to be the seva also, and it need not be a big project. It can also be just a very small thing, but it has to be there. It can be just very small thing, It can be maybe every day I just distribute one book. That's also fine, but it has to be something. I'm just giving an example. It has to be something. So that's the seva, right? Remember this always. The spiritual master is present wherever his sincere disciple is trying to serve his instructions. This is possible by the mercy of Krishna. In your attempts to serve me and in all your sincere devotional sentiments, I am with you as my Guru Maharaj is with me. Remember this always. Remember this always, right? So this is the end of this session. Any questions now or comments? I hope you all are reading the handbook. Please do that. We completed lesson 9 today, which means we have covered till page number 49. Okay, so please make sure you read up to that page by tomorrow or day after, whenever, but you must read all these pages. Yes, any questions, please?
So related to quiz, so we're going to get a quiz link tonight.
Yes.
Okay, and the last quiz we had was of 18 marks.
Yes.
You said it would be.
It would be?
You said 20 marks quiz we would be getting, so.
Yes, 20, 18, 20. And next will be 22. So that will make 70.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anything else? Rashmi Mataji.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute. Prabhuji, the question which I asked you on the WhatsApp about that last quiz, I had a doubt too. When the spiritual master, when the scripture says the Guru is perfect, it means that the Guru is supremely perfect in all aspects.
Yeah.
So,
So see, you have to understand the question properly. So what is the difference between perfect and supremely perfect? Supremely perfect means perfect in every single thing, right? So that is not, Prabhupada says, what is the perfectness of a guru? He says he's perfect like a postman. Now, what is the perfectness of a postman? The postman takes the parcel, delivers it as it is, right? But that postman may not have a perfect English.
Okay.
Isn't it? But in the job of delivering the parcel, the postman is perfect.
Okay.
Now, what happens is many times people, when they are choosing a guru or they're dealing with the guru, they want the guru to be perfect like God. You know? Like in everything, you know, the language should be perfect, the external appearance should be perfect, you know, everything should be perfect. And that's wrong expectation.
Okay.
We should look at the guru for what is guru's role, you know, and not outside that. You're getting the point? Like, for example, when Prabhupada would chant shlokas, Sanskrit shlokas, sometimes he would jumble few words. Like, instead of saying one word first, he would say the other word first, and then the next first word would come as the second word, right? So someone who's a Sanskrit Pandit, who knows Gita verses verbatim, who can speak them or chant them anytime in the right order, may think, oh, what kind of guru is he? He doesn't even know Gita shlokas properly. So he is trying to look for that kind of perfection in Srila Prabhupada, but that's the wrong thing to look, because that's not decide whether you are a pure devotee or not a pure devotee, isn't it? Correct,
Right.
isn't it?
Yes.
So what guru is perfect in what? Guru is perfect in being a good devotee of Krishna.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that, you know, I have a business problem. Should I invest in this new business or not? And I go to the guru and ask. And if the guru gives me a guidance and I say, what kind of guidance is that? I know better than you how to do business. You cannot be my guru. Then you are expecting something wrong from your spiritual master. That's not what you can expect. You know. So we cannot expect the guru to be supremely perfect like that.
Okay.
Got the point?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anything else? All right. No more questions. Shall we stop? See you tomorrow then, 7 p.m. Right? And because the last two lessons are just wind up lessons, I'll try to complete the course tomorrow. Even if we take 15-20 minutes extra to finish. So we will do it, and then you can give your exam on Sunday. Right? Okay. All right. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.